Hello. I am back after my very long hiatus, but we are back, episode 5. It took me a really long time to record tonight. To be honest, I just fell down a really deep hole on TikTok, which is my obsession. If you know me, you know that I love TikTok. I spend an unhealthy amount of time on that app, but I love it and it's my guilty pleasure. But I just fell down a deep hole before recording because something about Spain came on my For You page, and I studied abroad in Spain for 6 weeks. 3 summers ago. Oh my god, I feel like that's aging me. But it was a while ago now, and it feels like just yesterday. And I fell down a dark hole, missing Salamanca, where I studied, and I thought that it would be really interesting to talk about. Probably next episode I'll talk about Spain because there's some wild stories there and I think it would be really funny. But yeah, I meant to record like maybe 2 hours ago. It's like 9 o'clock now and I'm exhausted for reasons I'll get into. And I'm just recording now, but I am ready. I got my soda, which has been my other current obsession. I've been a soda hoe lately. And I haven't been in like years. But then I got Cloudy right next to me, playing as he does, and I'm ready to go. Episode 5. So, In the Clouds podcast did have a little bit of a hiatus, and that hiatus definitely wasn't intentional. When I first created the podcast, I know that I was all like, I don't care about the schedule, I'll post when I want to. And as I have got going on the podcast, and we're 5 episodes in, I've wanted to post more, and I've also wanted to post more on a regular schedule, and I haven't done so. So maybe that's my New Year's resolution 2022. I will post more regularly because I kind of suck at it, and I fell off for like 3 weeks. So I'm going to try and get better at that. So hopefully you can look forward to more episodes, more on a regular schedule, and I won't just be disappearing for like a month at a time. That was kind of shitty of me. But yeah, we did take a little bit of a break, so I'm back, and I really missed doing podcasts over the past few weeks, but honestly, I've just been too busy, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm not doing great mentally right now, which is weird to admit to a microphone in my room, but yeah, I'm not doing the best, and I'll be fine, but anyone who knows me knows that I'm a big drama queen, so what I'm saying now will be fine in the future, but yeah, right now my life is just too chaotic, and I'm not loving it. I really miss the times that I could slow down, take a second, and just enjoy life instead of just constantly working and constantly worrying about other things. So right now, yeah, I just feel like my mind is like so like jumbled up that I didn't have time to just sit down and talk, and now it feels like kind of therapeutic. So definitely going to stand to that resolution and post more, talk to the podcast more, because I've really loved doing it. It's just that I'm busy, and that causes a big lack of motivation on my part for my off time and what I want to be doing. And that's where my TikTok obsession came in, but we're going to overcome. So that's all I'm going to say about that, and we're going to move on to better things for today. First up on the list is holidays, of course. We need to continue talking about holidays in episode 5 and continue our conversation from episode 4. And I have a lot of things to say. So I first want to recap the obvious, the most important thing, the food of my holidays, and I want to say that I was right about the lasagna. It was the bangos, and it was so good, and it got rave reviews, and I knew it would be, and so I'm glad I talked about it, because then when I was eating the lasagna, I was like, oh, I should post a picture that I'm eating the lasagna and show everyone that, like, here it is, look at it in all its glory. But I was, like, too hungry. I needed that lasagna, like, at that moment. So, yeah, the phone did not eat first. Maddie ate first. And I didn't get a picture of it, but it was great. I did major damage on Christmas night, too, with chocolate, as predicted. It was bad. And there was a fondue tower? I don't even know what you call it. Fondue fountain. It was dipped in by me. I will say, though, that the MVP definitely goes to something different this year, and I'm going to award this person with having the best food, I thought, at Christmas, and it's Cooper, my brother. So round of applause for him, because he had the best snack, I don't even know what to call it, with a croissant. That bitch made his own croissants. Like, he rolled it, he did everything. It was so impressive, and they were so good. Yeah, Cloudy loved them. Just kidding, Cloudy didn't have any, but I did, and they were so good. Buttery, flaky goodness, and props to Coop. Everyone should go, like, throw him a message and just be like, heard your croissants for gas, because they totally were, and he deserves that. He deserves that hype. The croissants were amazing, and they win Christmas. So that was my little holiday food roundup. If I could only pick those 3 things, like, and live with them the rest of my life, I totally would. But those were the 3 shining stars, in my opinion. Everything was delish, and I loved the croissants. They were my favorite. Next order of business is I want to do a what I got for Christmas, not a haul, but just talk about it. And I wanted to talk about my new iPhone that I got for Christmas, that I really am loving. And usually I feel like I don't notice a difference between the iPhones, but I really like this one. I got the 13 Pro. I debated between the Pro and the Pro Max for so long, and Cloudy, excuse yourself. But I debated about the Pro and the Pro Max for so long, and if I wanted the bigger one, and I'm so glad that I didn't get the bigger one, because it is already big in itself. But anyway, I got a new phone and I really do love it. And I got the blue phone. It's like a muted blue and it's really cool. But obviously I wanted a super cute case to go with it, because I'm that bitch that will, like, take mirror selfies and look at my phone and be like, oh, my phone doesn't look cute. So I wanted my phone to look cute. Obviously, it's something that you always have. It's part of your outfit at this point. So I was looking at cases. I've always wanted a wildflower case. I think they're so cool. But none of them would have looked right with the blue, and then I was struggling. So the whole case picking process was really hard for me. And then I saw one that I was like, I kind of want this. And it was called the puffer case. I don't know if anyone has ever seen it on Instagram, but it's super trendy and it looks like a North Face, like, puffer coat on your phone case. And it was so cute. But there was a big debate with that phone case. While it was so cute and I really wanted to be that girl that had that case and I thought it was so cool, there was a big issue, because with a case like that, you cannot have the essentials. And I'm talking about the pop socket. I have been a pop socket hoe for as long as I can remember. At first, I did not understand them. I was like, why are people, like, putting those circle things on their phone? And then I got one, and the pop socket life changed me in the best way. I'm so passionately an advocate for pop sockets. I think that they are probably the greatest invention, like, ever. I've used my pop socket ever since I had it, and I just think they're great because then you can stand up your phone and watch something, and I've already established that I'm a big YouTube watcher, so that thing be standing up always. Every meal that I eat, if, like, I'm not with someone that I'm talking to, my phone is up there and I'm watching YouTube. I feel like that's nerdy of me, but I love that feature of the pop socket. It's also definitely my fidget, either playing with my rings that I wear every day or popping my pop socket. I'm so annoying with it. Whenever, like, I'm doing anything, my hand is on the pop socket. So safe to say, I love a pop socket, and with this puffer case, I couldn't have one, and that was a scary thing to me. And it was a huge mental debate in my head for a few weeks before Christmas came, because I had a feeling I was going to get the phone. And so I was, like, going back and forth, like, do I get the case? Do I make this big life-altering change of getting this case and not being able to have a pop socket, or should I just go with my safe bet? And eventually I felt like fate decided for me, because when I went to buy the puffer case and make that jump, the pop socket-less life, the puffer case was sold out. So I was like, okay, this is a sign, because I obviously had to get a case right away. I couldn't wait for this case to be back in stock. And it was a sign, and I ordered a different case that's, like, pretty standard, and I got myself a pop socket, a brand new one. Nothing's better than a brand new pop socket. But I stuck that bad boy on after a lot of frustration trying to activate my phone, and I'm passionately mad about that situation. It was just so unnecessary, the whole thing. They could have made it so much easier, but I finally got my phone working and I could put my case on, and I felt extra grateful for that pop socket every single time I popped it that night, which was like many times because I do it all day long. I just realized I was touching it as we are speaking. I didn't even realize. But yeah, I love my pop socket, and I'm super grateful that I decided to have a case with the pop socket. And I wanted to know, is this like a childish thing on my part? Are pop sockets only for like 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe middle school? Because I feel like that's who they are popular with, haha. But they're popular with me, and I'm 24, and I cannot see a future of me not having a pop socket. So is that weird? What is the standard? Do you like pop sockets? Do you think that they're dumb? Would you get a pop socket but you're embarrassed of having a pop socket? I would like to know, because I love this bad boy and I want to know if you do too. Am I weird for being obsessed with my pop socket? I just couldn't part ways with it. It was too special to me, and I feel like if you know, you know. So after Christmas, I went to Florida. I just had to hold on recording that because I really thought that Cloudy just said hi Muffy, which is literally what I call him. He's a chatty monster right now. I guess I never touched on how Cloudy talks, but he does speak and he does not shut up. It's either like robotic sounds or little cute squeaks, but he's always chatting. Like, this is nothing. It's constant. And the funniest part is that he talks to you. Like, he is definitely trying to talk to me right now. He's looking straight at me. And if I stop talking, he'll probably stop talking. So every single time that I press pause, he doesn't speak. And every single time I start speaking, he's chatting. So I'm gonna give this a test and watch. He probably won't do it anymore since he knows that like it's his time to shine, but he's chatting right now, and then I'm gonna stop talking and he's done, and he'll probably start talking again shortly. Yep, he's chirping. So that's Cloudy's trick of the day, I guess, is he's making his appearance on the podcast known and chatting. But I might have to move him out of the room because he is a chatty monster, like I said before, which makes no sense, but he is. We'll give this another go before I squirt him out of here. But like I was saying, before he really interrupted, I went to Florida right after Christmas with Harris and his dad, and it was such a good time because we didn't stick to one thing to do. We bounced around everywhere. So we first went to Fort Lauderdale. Harris's grandma lives like near there. I think it's not directly in Fort Lauderdale, but near there. So we got to see her, which was cool. And it was extra cool because we got to go out with her and her friend, who is 97 years old, which was crazy. I don't think I've ever met someone that old before, but it was actually really interesting to me, and I really enjoyed that dinner. It was 3 hours, I will say. That's something that you should know about our trips to Florida, is that we're always going to have good dinners because Harris's dad is a connoisseur of restaurants and he always picks a good dinner. So I really enjoyed that dinner. And also, speaking of dinners, I have to let you guys know that Cloudy made an appearance in Florida. Not physically, but he did make an appearance at another dinner that we were at. So we went to, I think it was Michael Jordan's restaurant, but I don't know sports things. So Harris is going to tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it was his, and it was really good. And it was like somewhat fancy. I wouldn't say like top of the fancy level, but definitely had some fancy to it. And there were Apple TVs all over the restaurant. And I don't know if it was my idea or Harris's idea, but we ended up connecting to the Apple TV, and let me just tell you, they made it too easy for me to connect because, as I've said before, I don't know tech things, but I figured out how to connect to these Apple TVs like it was my job. So I was connected and it was mirroring my phone, and I threw up a picture of Cloudy, and then I got more advanced and I threw up a video of him taking a little bath because I got Cloudy a little bath for Christmas. Which, by the way, Cloudy got so many gifts from everyone. Of course, Santa spoiled him, even though he's bad. But Brielle got him gifts, my mom got him gifts, my aunt got him gifts. He got spoiled rotten, and he does not deserve it, but he's cute. And that's how the world works. But anyways, my content was up for display at that restaurant, and Cloudy was repping, even in Florida, and I was proud of him. Before we left for Florida, I had a complete mental breakdown because packing is like an odd stressor for me. Even if I'm going away for one night, I will procrastinate packing till the very last second, and every moment before packing, I will be worrying about packing. It's just one of those odd things that is really hard for me, and even after doing the packing, I still have that underlying worry of what if you forgot something, and I just hate the whole process, start to finish. Front cover to back cover, I hate packing, and I procrastinate it for that reason. I always wait till the very last second to pack, and I go up to New York. It used to be every week before we got moved remote again for work, but I would do a lot of packing, and you would think that I would have gotten used to it, better at it, but I have no packing strategy except overpack to the extreme, honestly. I get when people are like, oh yeah, you need options, but I take that and I magnify it times like 1,000 because I pack options galore. If I'm there for 3 days, I'll have honestly maybe 8 outfits for 3 days, which is so crazy. I just need all of the options because of that underlying fear of, oh, what if I forgot something? I like to have all my bases covered, but packing for Florida was extra hard, and I'm trying to think of a reason why it would have been extra hard, and I really can't think of one. It's just because I suck at packing and I'm a huge procrastinator. That's the reason it was extra hard. But it was also kind of hard because I had all my summer clothing packed in trash bags, and so I had to dig through those to try and figure out what I wanted to pack, and it was difficult. I'll cut myself a little bit of slack. It was a difficult job. Even though we weren't going for too long, I packed a full suitcase, you know it, and it was huge, and I struggled for space. I had to go back in a few times and like edit what I packed and take a bunch out, and I still ended up like way over the limit for sure. This whole packing process took me way too long. It was crazy how much longer it took than the average person. How long does it take everyone to pack? Because it takes me like an hour at least every single time, no matter how long I'm going. But this process was a scary amount of time. I don't even want to know how long I spent taking stuff out of my bag and then reconsidering everything and then checking if I had it. It was a while. And we were flying out of New York, so I had to drive up to Harris's house the day before because we were flying early in the morning. As time passed that day before we left, I was like, okay, I'll have time to go home, pack, and then get to Harris's. It will be super easy, and I'll get there around dinner time. We could go to bed early, and you'll be fine. I had a whole plan in my head. And then I decided to wake up an hour later than I originally told myself, which is standard practice for me. I always wake up later than I anticipate. And then I decided to go to the gym and spend like 2 hours there. No reason. Just wanted to. I don't even remember what else I did, but there was just no urgency towards the beginning first half of the day. And then all of the sudden it was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I was like, shit, this is bad. And I hadn't even started packing. So I start, it goes downhill very quickly, and it stayed downhill. And then it's 10 o'clock, and I still haven't left for New York, and I live 3 hours away. There goes my going to bed early plan and all of that productivity, but you'll still be fine. You'll get there, and you'll wake up there and be fine. And I just kept it going. I was relentless that day. Couldn't pack, sat on my phone, still no urgency, and it was like midnight by the time I was like, you're gonna have to do this drive tomorrow. You did this to yourself, and you're going to have to do it. And you have to be on Long Island at 7 a.m. So you gotta make it happen. So I got into that mindset, and I honestly just got it done. I woke up at like 4 in the morning. I had everything completely packed at that point. Said goodbye to the little cloudy, and I was on my way. And it was fine. I felt like I was honestly running on adrenaline. And let the record show, I don't regret it. Would I do it again? Probably not. But you never know what I'm going to wake up and decide that day. Because I woke up and I decided to be the worst packer that has ever lived in the world. Cloudy's cracking me up right now. And I also decided to wake up at 4 a.m. and just get the drive done. Get her done. And I did. And that's what I did. And that was my Florida vacation. So there's a story that I've been telling a lot lately. And I was like, I need to talk to the podcast about this. So last week I asked if you would be interested in me having reality TV show stars come on the podcast and we'll just chit chat. Who knows what we'll talk about? And a lot of people said yes. And an overwhelming amount of people said that they would like a housewife to come. And I never really got into the housewife shows, but I knew that New Jersey and New York were obviously popular. And I'm really open for that. I think it could be really cool. And I have some tea on one of the housewives that I've been telling this story a lot. And I was just thinking to myself the other day that I should totally share it on here, since clearly a lot of people that listen to my podcast like the housewives. And I think that it could be really funny if I had this person on the podcast. So here we go. It's literally not tea at all. And it's kind of an irrelevant story. And I feel like I just hyped it up so much. But in the apartment in New York where I stay, there's a housewife that lives the floor below. And we've obviously heard that she lived there, but I've never seen her until one day. So let me just set the scene. In this apartment, there's a penthouse, and that has the gym, the pool, the laundry. All of the community spaces are on the top floor. And then we live some floors down, and then this housewife also lives the floor below us. So one day, Harris and I get in the elevator, and there is a woman standing in the elevator already, and the elevator is going down, so we get in, and we assume that the elevator is just going down to the lobby, because when you get in and the elevator is going down, usually you just assume that, like, oh, we're going to the lobby, because everyone goes down to go to the lobby. But I guess this woman got in at the penthouse from doing whatever she was doing, and was going down to her floor, and she wasn't going to the lobby. Therefore, she did not have the lobby button pressed. And Harris and I did not look. We just assumed. So we walked in and we did nothing. We just stood there and do whatever everyone does in an elevator. And this woman whips her head around and says to Harris, "You gotta press the button to the floor you want to go to, babe." Just like that. And I think it was in that moment that Harris and I knew who this woman was. If the Chanel bag and decked out makeup and hair, she honestly looked amazing, wasn't enough. We were like, yeah, that's her. And we got told off, and Harris was like, sorry, I just thought you were going down. But after we got out of the elevator, and he was like, yeah, I know how an elevator works. Like, she was such a bitch to him for no reason. It was so sass. And here goes the big reveal. Cloudy, can I get like a little chirp as a drum roll? No? His head is like in his bell right now. Oh, okay. I thought you couldn't be bothered. But it was Ramona from Real Housewives of New York, and she is a sassafras, and I've seen her a few times since then. No other encounters, but I just thought that was hilarious, and this story has been coming up lately, and everyone I tell to is like, oh my gosh, crazy Ramona, and I have no idea who she is. I've only known her from like that one encounter, because I just don't watch the show, even though I really should. It sounds like something that I could totally get into, but yeah, that was my encounter with Ramona, and she was mean to Harris and I, and I'm a little afraid to see her again. And apparently another one just moved in, too. I just texted Steve before. Steve is Harris's dad, who it was. Oh, Jill Zarin. So if you know her, tell me what to look out for and tell me what to do if I see them again. And that's our show, guys. That's all that I had to talk about today. But I really do want to make another episode right away and not procrastinate anymore and potentially have the clouder outside of my room because, not gonna lie, he got distracting today. I would be mid-sentence and then he would start chirping and I'd be like, Cloudy, you're stealing my spotlight. But anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode and hearing me ramble about pop sockets and my hatred of packing. And you guys got to hear Cloudy speak today for the first real time. You'll have to rewind and see if he did say hi Muffy, but I really think that he did. Thank you so much for listening, and if you haven't yet, please check out some of the other episodes before this, because we're on episode 5 now, and it's flying by, so make sure you listen to all of them, get to know my life, get to know Cloudy, of course, and definitely be sure to follow the Instagram, too. He said follow it. The Instagram is @InTheCloudsPod, and Clouds has 3 S's, so be sure to follow it. If you could share my posts and share it with your friends and your network, that would really help me out. I love doing this, and I would just want as many people to listen as possible, so if you could do me a solid, share this, I would greatly appreciate it, and looking forward to talking to you in episode 6. Bye!